Sports and Entertainment Marketing, Chapter 3, Section 2, Categories of Sports. The goal of the section are to identify the different categories of sports and to differentiate between amateur sports and professional sports, and to be able to discuss the significance of international sports and explain the significance of women's sports. Why are you studying this? Well, an understanding of the categories of sports and knowing how each applies to sports marketing helps a marketer develop good marketing strategy. Some key terms we will be discussing are amateur athlete, NCAA, professional athlete, Title IX, and extreme sports. Sports and sporting events can be classified into several categories, including amateur, high school, college, and professional. This section will explain the categories of sports and how each one varies and applies to sports marketing. These categories will give you an understanding of how a sports marketer can make the most of the different and specific characteristics. A sports consumer may enjoy watching certain forms of amateur, high school, or college sports more than he or she enjoys professional sports. People enjoy sports for different reasons. Sports consumers are attracted to professional sporting events, but they also find interest in a sport and a classification or level of the sport. An amateur athlete is a person who does not get paid to play a sport. Therefore, a high school, college, or any other type of athlete, including a recreational player, is considered an amateur athlete because he or she is not paid to play. Amateur sporting events attract a large number of fans, attention, and money. Many communities have youth leagues, senior leagues, and a variety of other athletic organizations that attract people who have a strong interest in participating in or watching a particular athletic event. Because so many people are interested in playing the sport, it has become common to see these amateur sporting events attracting a number of interested spectators and sponsors. If you have ever gone to a pep rally at your school, chances are you have seen the impact that high school sports have on school spirit. However, some people debate the issues involved with educational institutions spending money and energy in support of sporting events. Because of these controversies, high school organizations, such as the National Federation of State High School Associations, set guidelines and make sure that students benefit from a balanced educational and athletic experience. In many communities, high school sports are a part of the tradition. Regional influences affect the popularity of sports in the United States as well. In many southern states, high school football games take on the importance of college or professional football. In the central states and in New England, the sport of ice hockey interests many communities. People from Vermont, for example, may also be skilled at and interested in skiing. People growing up on the coast of California may develop skills and an interest in surfing. The natural resources of a specific climate and geographical location encourage the popularity and development of specific sports. Sporting events at the college level are very popular and extremely competitive in all regions. In fact, many people consider collegiate sports to be more competitive than professional sports. To appeal to the wide range of student interests, colleges offer a variety of sporting events. At large universities, the types and number of sports offered are greater because the student population is larger. For example, at large universities, sporting events such as rowing, water polo, and fencing have become highly competitive. You also see the advent of other niche sports like Quidditch and cricket being offered as well. The National Collegiate Athletic Association, or NCAA, is a national organization that governs college athletics and oversees important decisions pertaining to athletics, similar to the NFHS for high school sports. A professional athlete is an athlete who has the will and ability to earn an income from a particular sport. A professional athlete's income is paid by his or her employer, who is the team or organization. In addition to the salary a player receives from the team, extremely talented athletes have opportunities to earn other incomes from major corporations seeking endorsement services from the athlete. On rare occasions, the additional income from major corporations can be higher than the athlete's actual team salary. For example, at the age of 18, basketball player LeBron James signed a 3-year, $12.96 million deal with a 1-year option at $5.8 million with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That amount was minor compared to his 7-year endorsement deal with Nike, worth over $90 million, added to $10 million for other endorsement deals. Professional sports are perhaps the most costly and heavily marketed of all sports categories. Teams are considered fully functional businesses whose main purpose is to get the best players in order to win events that will attract fans who have a desire to purchase tickets and merchandise. Besides the main categories of sports and sporting events, the world of sports has a category for the Olympic Games. Sports and sports marketing have also broadened in the last few decades to encompass an even wider world of sports, including athletes with disabilities, international sports, women's sports, and extreme sports. The first recorded evidence of the Olympic Games shows that the first Olympic competition was held in 776 BC in Olympia, Greece. The only event at this Olympics was a run of approximately 192 meters, or 210 yards. Several years later, other events such as discus, javelin, jumping, and wrestling were added. The ancient Olympic Games grew and continued to be played every 4 years for nearly 1,200 years. In 393 AD, Roman Emperor Theodosius I abolished the Games because of their pagan influences. More than 2,500 years later, in 1890, a young Frenchman named Pierre de Coubertin began the revival of the Olympic Games. Coubertin organized an international committee to plan the Games and oversee issues and decisions. This committee became the International Olympic Committee. In April 1896, Athens was chosen for the revival of the Olympic Games. Events included pole vaulting, sprints, shot put, weightlifting, swimming, cycling, target shooting, tennis, marathon, and gymnastics. Approximately 300 athletes from 13 countries participated. In 1948, Sir Ludwig Guttmann organized a sports competition involving World War II veterans with spinal cord-related injuries in England. 4 years later, competitors from Holland joined the competition, and the international movement now known as the Paralympics began. Olympic-style games for athletes with disabilities were organized for the first time in Rome in 1960. In 1968, Eunice Kennedy Shriver organized the first international Special Olympics Games at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Since 1968, millions of children and adults have participated in the Special Olympics. Special Olympics currently serve 1 million people in more than 200 programs in more than 150 countries. The status of women in sports has advanced in the 20th and 21st centuries, and especially in the last 20 years, opening up new markets for sports with more progress ahead. As early as 1932, Olympic gold medalist Mildred Babe Diedrichson Zaharias not only excelled at most sports, including track, golf, basketball, softball, boxing, and others, she was also an impressive sports promoter. On June 23, 1972, the enactment of Title IX, the Education Amendment, advanced girls' participation in sports. This is a law that bans gender discrimination in schools that receive federal funds. As a result, over a 20-year period, the number of girls participating in high school sports programs had increased nearly tenfold. In 1970-71, only 294,000 high school girls competed in interscholastic sports in the U.S. By 1998-99, more than 2,652,000 girls were participating. Prior to Title IX, few colleges offered sports scholarships for women. By 1995 and 96, female athletes received more than $212 million in scholarships.